Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will learn how to build your first ever AI agent automation workflow using N8N. This is the N8N dashboard. Here you can see all your workflows. If you are starting fresh, then your list will be empty. No worries, we will start building more and more workflows in this entire playlist. Let us now start to create our first N8N workflow by simply clicking on Create Workflow button. Once you have clicked the Create Workflow button, you will be redirected to this page. This is the part of the N8N where all your magic stuffs happen. First of all, let us start with renaming our file. You can see here in the top left corner, we have the folder name followed by the file name. You can give any custom name here, but for now I am going to give SOS N8N Part 2. SOS goes for our channel name, Study at One Stop, and followed by the playlist and video name. Basically, to keep everything organized. So, without wasting much time on all of this, let us start building agentic workflows. In this video, we will be building a simple automation flow for sending emails. I know this is a very simple automation, but as we are starting from a beginner level and concentrating on being a pro in building automation workflows, it is very necessary to be strong in the fundamentals of building automation workflows. Keeping these things in mind, we can proceed to take a first action, which is to select the trigger node of our workflow. Now, what is a trigger node? A trigger node is something that starts our workflow execution. This is basically the starting point of any automation workflow. For easier understanding, we can tell it in this way. On this particular trigger, all these particular actions specified in our flow will be executed. Here in N8N, we have so many such trigger points using which we can start our flow execution. To see them, just simply click on plus button in the middle of the screen. Now in the right section, we can see all the trigger nodes. We have trigger manually, on app event, on a schedule, on webhook call, on form submission, etc. 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 To start with the first option, trigger manually. This trigger will run the flow on clicking a button in N8N. This is recommended for beginners to get started quickly, or we can also use this to test some simple flows. Going forward to the second option, we have on app event. This trigger will make our flow execute upon some events in apps like Telegram, Mail, WhatsApp, etc. There are so many applications linked to N8N to make our life easy. We will be discussing all these application triggers deeply in our upcoming videos. So make sure to follow this playlist to be a champion in building automation agents using N8N. Going forward to the third option, on a schedule. We can use this trigger to make our flow run on some scheduled time intervals. It can be hourly, daily, monthly, or some custom interval. In fourth option, we have on webhook call. We can also trigger our workflow by using some external third-party APIs. If you are a programmer and want to integrate some of your application actions into the workflow, then this is the best trigger to choose. By using this trigger, programmers can automatically trigger this flow from within their custom built application just by making an API call. So moving forward, fifth option is on form submission. This trigger helps in generating a custom web form for the user. Once the user has filled out the form, the data can be circulated throughout the flow. For instance, we can send the automated email on form submission, or we can store the filled data in an Excel sheet or database. Going forward to the sixth option, when executed by another workflow. Here in N8N, we can link two or more workflows and make them execute one after another. This is like building functions in programming language. Instead of rebuilding some specific workflow again and again, we can build one workflow and use it in another executions also. There are still more trigger points like on chat message, when running evaluation, email trigger, error trigger, MCP server trigger, N8N, SSE trigger. We can discuss all these as and when we use them in our project. Now to start with, let me go with the basic one, trigger manually. So after selecting the trigger, our next step is to choose what action should be performed when we trigger this node. Since we are doing a workflow that will send an email on trigger, we can click on the plus button here and click on action in an app option. Then we can type Gmail in the search tab and select the Gmail node. Now there are so many actions that can be performed using the Gmail node. But for now, since we are sending mail, we can choose the send message option. Now we have to set up the Google account for sending emails. In the credentials to connect input field, you can select create new credentials. Now here in N8N, we have two methods to link our Google account. One is OAuth 2, this is the recommended method, and second option is service account. In this video, we will go with OAuth 2 method. Here we can simply click on sign in with Google button and select your Google account to be added, and that's it. You have successfully linked your Google account with N8N, and we are ready to send emails from the linked email ID. Big thanks to N8N team for making our lives so easy. Now we can click on save and move further. In the response section, we can select a message. In the operation, we have so many options, but for now, we can choose send. And now, here in the to section, we can enter the recipient's email ID. Once you have entered the email ID of the person whom you are planning to send the email, you can type the email subject and select the email type as message. And finally, in the body section, you can start typing the email body. Once you are finished with typing the email body and making all the configurations, you can simply click on back to canvas button, which will redirect us back to the flow. Now you are all set to go. Your first ever automation workflow is up and running. You can simply click on the execute workflow button to start the execution of the flow. Once the execution is complete, we will be receiving the notification from the N8N that workflow is executed successfully. Now we can open the Gmail account and check we have received the email or not. Yes, we have received the email. Once this is done, we can also improvise the flow by adding multiple emails in the recipient section. So in single click, we can send emails to multiple people. So to do that, click on Gmail node again, and in the to section, we can add multiple emails by adding a comma between them. Once you are done with adding multiple emails, again click on back to canvas, and now click on execute workflow button, and boom, we were able to send emails to multiple email IDs with a single click. So I understand this is a simple workflow, but we have successfully created a first ever automation workflow using N8N. That's it for this video. Hope you have liked it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe our channel. Happy automation.